Covered call ETFs are gaining popularity, especially among income-focused investors. These are funds that pay out big dividends, typically on a monthly basis, but sometimes even weekly. Many people use these funds to maximize the income they generate from their portfolio, allowing them to potentially even live off dividends at a faster rate. But what exactly are covered call ETFs? What are the advantages and trade-offs? What are the best covered call ETFs, and are they a tool you should be utilizing? We're going to be covering it all in this video, and in an effort to provide you with as much value as possible, I created a free spreadsheet with details on over 60 different covered call ETFs, and if everything in the spreadsheet doesn't make sense yet, don't worry, I'm going to cover it all in this video. If you've been paying attention lately, there are tons of new covered call ETFs coming onto the market, and most of them have very high starting dividend yields. To start off, this is a popular one. We have JEPI with a 7.2% starting dividend yield. If we look at QYLD, this is another one that's been around for a while, and it has a starting dividend yield sitting at 12.3%. And then we have a relatively new covered call ETF, SPYI, from NEOS, the S&P 500 High Income ETF, with around a 12% starting dividend yield. So how do these ETFs generate such high yields? Well, it's actually pretty simple when you understand what's going on. To start off, the ETF holds a portfolio of stocks. It sells call options which allow the ETF to earn a premium, and then the income generated from these premiums is distributed as income to investors. Now, the fact it pays out these premiums as dividends is important because it tells us a few different things about what we can expect from these funds, and it is going to vary a little bit from fund to fund, as we'll see later in the video. Now, because covered call ETFs pay out their premiums in the form of dividends, the monthly payouts can greatly fluctuate, and this is something you absolutely have to understand as investors. So, for example, you can see right now, we're looking at JEPI, JEPI. If we look at the dividend history for this fund over the past 5 years, we can see there is a lot of fluctuation. It looks like at its lowest, it had a dividend payout of about 26 cents, but just a few months later, the dividend payout was as high as 62 cents. So yes, you're typically going to get pretty big monthly dividends, but those dividend payouts can fluctuate at a high level. Now, why does it fluctuate so much? And that's because volatility can greatly impact the performance and the amount paid out in dividends from these funds. Let's look at another example. Let's look at SPYI, the NEOS S&P 500 High Income ETF, and let's look at their dividend history. Once again, if we scroll down, one of the things we can see is this fund does do a better job of not having their dividend payouts fluctuate quite as much, and we can talk about why a little bit later in the video. But look right here, their dividend payout in August of 2024 was a bit higher than we had seen in the previous months and a bit higher than it was in the following months. The premiums these funds generate depend on market volatility. Higher volatility typically leads to higher premiums and larger payouts, while lower volatility does the exact opposite. So how do we know what volatility is like in the market? Well, we look at the VIX, the S&P 500 Volatility Index. And if we look at August of 2024, there was a huge spike in volatility in the market, as we can see right here. So the end result of that is we can see in that month, SPYI was able to generate a larger dividend payment. So volatility matters. Now let's talk about some of the downsides when we talk about these covered call ETFs. And the number one downside is there is capped upside potential. And this is simply because selling call options caps the upside potential of the underlying stocks. So let's take QYLD for example. If we jump over to my covered call spreadsheet, here's what I want to point out. If we zoom in, you can see right here, we have QYLD, the current fund we're paying attention to. If we scroll all the way over, here's what I want to look at. Portfolio options coverage for QYLD. What we can see is 100% portfolio coverage. Now, what does this mean? What am I even talking about? Well, the fact they have 100% portfolio coverage means that they're writing covered calls on 100% of their portfolio. Now, why is that relevant? Well, it means 100% of their portfolio is limited on the upside. And as a result, yes, we can see over the past year, they've done decent, up about 4% during a massive bull run. But if we look at the past 5 years, what we can see is they're down about 22.6%. Now, yes, to be fair, if we look at them on a total return basis over the past 5 years, they are still up around 43%. But what we've just learned is it can be very important to pay attention to the portfolio options coverage percentage. So let's look at a different example. Let's jump back over and look at SPYI, NEOS S&P 500 High Income ETF. Now again, this is a relatively new fund, and over the past year, it's up about 5%. But if we jump back over to my covered call ETF list, right here, we have SPYI. Let's go ahead and zoom back in. If we scroll all the way over, we can see their portfolio options coverage is typically between 75 and 90%. So they're not writing covered call options on the entirety of their portfolio. So what this means is they can partake in more of the upside of the market. And this is intentional by the fund managers. If we jump over to Neos's website and look a little bit more into SPYI, we can see their distribution rate is about 12%. So they're still paying out massive dividends, but also allowing us to take more in the upside of the market. So when you're looking at these different covered call ETFs, it's really important to know what their portfolio options coverage is. Now, when it comes to amount of dividend income that these different covered call ETFs produce, and also how much of the upside is limited, it doesn't just boil down to the portfolio's options coverage. There's more to take into account, such as the options moneyness. What does this mean? Well, option moneyness refers to the relationship between the option strike price and the current price of the underlying asset. Now, if you don't understand what that means, basically for covered call ETFs, this is also going to determine how much income they generate and how much upside they sacrifice. So let's talk about some examples. Number one, we have at the money calls, and this is going to be common for funds like QYLD and XYLD. What this does is it helps them generate very high premiums, leading to more dividend income, but it caps almost all of the upside, which again is why we see QYLD is down about 22.6% in the last 5 years. Then we also have in the money call. This one's not nearly as common in covered call ETFs, and it typically is going to provide the highest premiums, but it sacrifices almost all of the upside. And then finally, we have out of the money call options. And this is used by some ETFs like JEPI and DIVO, D-I-V-O, which we can see right here. And at the end of the day, this is going to lead to lower premiums, but also allow some upside. So let's use DIVO as an example. What we can see is the dividend yield for the trailing 12 months for DIVO is about 4.51%. So that's still a high starting dividend yield, but considerably lower than what we typically see from covered call ETFs. But then if we jump over to Seeking Alpha and look at DIVO over the past year, they're actually up about 13.84%. That is radically higher than we've seen from most covered call ETFs over the past year. So if we quickly summarize the three types of option moneyness we just talked about, we have at the money calls, which generates higher premiums but caps most of the upside, which can be good in a sideways or slightly bearish market. Then we have in the money calls. This is going to generate the highest premium but completely sacrifices the upside, so this is more defensive and better in bear markets. But then we have out of the money calls. This is going to generate slightly lower premium but also allows more of the upside, which can be better in bullish markets. Again, anytime you're analyzing covered call ETFs, this is what you have to check for. And if you're anything like me, out of the money calls sound the most attractive. So by now you should start to get a better understanding of what you're looking at when you look at the spreadsheet and when you look at different covered call ETFs. You have a better understanding of how they generate income and what some of the pros and cons of these different strategies are. But something we haven't discussed yet that can play a major role in the viability and how effective these funds actually are is how they are taxed. And at first glance, you would probably think most covered call ETFs are all taxed the exact same, but that is simply not true. So the best way to address this is simply by looking at some different examples and showing which funds are more tax efficient than others. So let's go ahead and get started. Now again, one of the most popular covered call ETFs is JEPI, the JP Morgan Equity Premium Income ETF. Now when we talk about JEPI, there's something we have to understand. The fund's benchmark is the S&P 500, but it does not hold all the names inside of the S&P 500. So for example, if we go back over here and look at the holdings for JEPI and scroll down, we can see it looks like it has about 132 total holdings. So the stocks that are being held by JEPI are specifically stocks that the fund managers have picked out. Now, what does that have to do with taxes? Well, trust me, we're getting there. Because JEPI doesn't invest into all of the stocks in the S&P 500, they're forced to generate income by selling what's known as equity-linked notes, otherwise known as ELNs. And this is different from other covered call ETFs like QYLD. Now, on a very basic level, equity-linked notes are an investment product that combines a fixed income investment with additional potential returns that are tied to the performance of equities. So to quickly summarize what JEPI's doing, they're outsourcing the option strategy to structured notes issued by banks. But here's the caveat to all of this. Equity-linked notes are taxed as ordinary income. Why does that matter? Well, let's take a look at the tax rates. Look at an example. Pretend we're single. You can see we're already paying up to 10% tax on the first $11,600 that we make as of the 2024 tax brackets. If we're married, it's up to $23,200. What if we make over $100,000? Well, we could start getting taxed above 22 or even 24%. So there can be an immense tax drag on a fund like JEPI, especially if you're not using a tax-deferred retirement account. So let's look at an example of this. If you're in the top 25% of taxpayers in the USA with an adjusted gross income between $85K and $150K per year, then your effective tax rate is around 17%. So if you're making about $50,000 a year in income from JEPI, you'd owe about $8,500 of that to the IRS. Now let's compare that to a more tax-efficient fund like the NEOS S&P 500 High Income ETF, SPYI. Unlike JEPI, SPYI writes covered call index options, which are classified as Section 1256 contracts. Now, what does that mean? We can see, yes, it is taxed more efficiently, but why? Well, let's take a look at SPYI fact sheet. If we zoom in here, we can see SPYI utilizes SPX index options classified as Section 1256 contracts. So there's that term again. But here's what it says. That means 60% is taxed at long-term capital gains and 40% is short-term. So if we jump back over to our tax brackets, again, we've already looked at the short-term capital gains, but how does the long-term capital gains shape up? Well, we can see the 2024 long-term capital gains tax rates are much more favorable for investors. For example, if you're single, you can make up to $47,000 at a 0% tax rate. And if you're married filing jointly, it's up to $94,000. So that plays a major role in the tax efficiency of this fund. It's already more efficient than JEPI. But it doesn't just stop there. The monthly distribution paid to SPYI investors, for the most part, is classified by the IRS as a return of capital. A return of capital is a payment or return received from an investment that is not considered a taxable event and is not taxed as income. Instead of being generated from earnings or capital gains, return of capital represents a return of the investor's original investment. Keep in mind, a return of capital is going to reduce your cost basis. So let's run it through that exact same scenario, assuming you're a top 25% taxpayer in the USA and you generate roughly around $50,000 of income per year from SPYI, you could be expected to pay roughly $340 in ordinary income tax and around $450 in long-term capital gains taxes. So compared to JEPI in the scenario we gave, it would save you around $7,710 in taxes. So you can see why understanding the tax implications of these different funds is so important. Let's look at one more fund. This time we'll look at a Global X fund, the S&P 500 Covered Call ETF from Global X, XYLD. And there's some similarities with this one and SPYI. This is another fund that uses Section 1256 contracts, so we have that 60% long-term capital gains and 40% as ordinary income. So just like SPYI, we can see at $50K per year, assuming a top 25% taxpayer, this would save you a potential $7,710 in taxes compared to JEPI. But the thing we do have to remember about XYLD is it doesn't allow you to take part in the upside. If we look at the past 5 years, the fund is down almost 18%. Again, if we look at my covered call spreadsheet, let's take a closer look at XYLD as an example. If we scroll all the way over, we can see the portfolio options coverage is 100%. Again, limiting the upside. Yes, big dividends, but a very limited upside. And then if we come over here, we can see they're doing at the money calls, which if we review what we learned earlier, we can see it caps almost all of the upside. Meanwhile, if we take a look at JEPI, we can see they don't write options on 100% of their portfolio, but it is close. But they also do out of the money call options. Again, if we review, this allows you to take more part in the upside, which has led to the performance overall from JEPI being a little bit better. But JEPI is still not very favorable from a tax perspective. So how can you get the best of both worlds? If I was going to invest in a covered call ETF, I'd want upside potential. I'd want big dividends, of course, but I'd also want the tax efficiency. So if we scroll down, here's a covered call ETF that does exactly that. We have SPYI, the NEOS S&P 500 High Income ETF. And if we scroll all the way over, again, here's what we can see. They have about 75 to 90% portfolio coverage and write out of the money calls. And like we discussed earlier, they're also more tax efficient in most scenarios. So for me personally, I tend to lean towards favoring NEOS covered call ETFs. Not to mention, the team over at NEOS has also been creating what I would call a more targeted approach. For example, they just released IYRI, which is the NEOS Real Estate High Income ETF. And this covered call ETF has many of the same benefits as SPYI, but something else we also have to account for is the fact the fund will have an enhanced layer of high monthly income potential because it has REITs in the portfolio. Now, there still are a few other minor things we need to take note of. For example, if we go ahead and zoom in, one of the things we can see is the option strategy. We have an active strategy and some funds have a passive strategy. And one of the things you'll notice is an active strategy is typically going to have a higher expense ratio. That's pretty typical, and a passive strategy is going to have a lower expense ratio. And in the case of covered call ETFs, the expense ratios are typically going to be quite a bit higher than what you typically see. And this is something you want to account for when looking at the starting dividend yield. So again, for example, if we look at JEPI, one of the things we can see is that starting dividend yield is about 7.18%, but when you look at the expense ratio sitting at about 0.35%, you also have to take that into account when considering how much you're actually going to be paid in dividends. Now, if we come up here and simply look at market cap, what we can see is some of the most popular covered call ETFs are going to be DIVO, D-I-V-O, with a market cap of close to $4 billion. If we zoom in and keep scrolling down, we can also see we have a popular one here with XYLD. Come down here. QYLD, another very popular one. So is RYLD. If we keep scrolling down, we can see one of the most popular is going to be JEPI from JP Morgan, and then JEPQ. And then if we scroll down a little bit further, we can also see the SPYI from NEOS is going to be another very popular covered call ETF with over 2.6 billion market cap. So by now you should have a much better feel for how covered call ETFs actually work. What are the pros and what are the trade-offs? What do things like option moneyness and portfolio options coverage actually mean? So now we have to actually answer the question, are covered call ETFs for you? And let me go ahead and give you the answer. It completely depends. It heavily depends on what your very specific goals for your investment portfolio are. It depends on your time horizon. And it also depends on what your risk tolerance is. Once you figure those things out, you can decide if covered call ETFs are for you. And once you get to that point, that's when you want to take the time to look at this spreadsheet and decide which of these strategies align most closely with what you actually want from your covered call ETFs. Again, you can get this spreadsheet completely for free at the link in the description. But go ahead and let me know what your favorite covered call ETFs are in the comments down below. And like always, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.